And I really learned that whatever success I've had in life has had to do more with my ability to know how to deal with my not knowing than even the things I know. So that changed everything. Mexico defaulted in August 1982, and a number of companies did, and there was this banking crisis. And I thought that the economy would have a debt crisis and go down, and I couldn't have been more wrong. I was dead wrong. And I lost money for me, I lost money for my clients. Bridgewater was a small company then, about, 8 or 10 people. I had to let those people go. And I was so broke that I had to borrow $4,000 from my dad to pay for family bills and things. And so that was a very painful experience. But it turned out to be one of the best experiences that ever happened because it changed my whole approach to decision making. It gave me the humility I needed to balance with my audacity. It made me think, how do I know that I'm not wrong? And that brought me, changed my whole decision making process. That decision-making process meant that I would try to find the smartest people I knew who would disagree with me so that I could understand their perspectives. I would do triangulation. I went to diversification. I did a number of things that significantly increased my probabilities of being right. And so when I'm making decisions, I think it's a combination of being able to have audacity or the willingness to take risk, and then also that notion of the fear of being wrong so that you can take in the best thinking and raise your probabilities of being right by taking things in. And I really learned that whatever success I've had in life has had to do more with my ability to know how to deal with my not knowing than even the things I know. So that changed everything. It meant that I wanted to create an organization that was a real idea meritocracy. So in other words, I wanted to bring in the smartest independent thinkers to disagree with me so that we could disagree well. And that developed a unique culture.
Yeah, so as you said, in your book, your amygdala is creating fear that you're wrong and you don't want to be wrong. But then you step over it and you go to your more modern brains, your prefrontal cortex, and you say, well, I want to learn from these people. I don't fear other opinions. And then you can use your bigger brain. So you're de-biasing actually your whole thing of how your brain is wired. And you get rid of that. You get more broader thinking. So you need opposing views.
It's enjoyable because, first of all, by seeing through everybody's eyes, it's exciting.
It broadens your view. You get a most people have a narrow view and they can't get out of it.
That's right. It's an animal behavior. Somebody goes into a restaurant and they say, I like the food. Then the other person would be reluctant to say, I don't like the food. Is that a fight? Disagreement can be appreciated if it's approached. But all of these things are habit. Yeah, if you get into the good habit and you appreciate each other having exchanges like that where there can be thoughtful disagreement, it just makes everything so better. So it's like going from black and white to color, or it goes 2 dimensions to 3 dimensions, and all of a sudden you're seeing the world in a much richer way. So that notion of approaching it that way rather than the way it normally is approached, which is this barbaric, I'm angry at you because you disagree with me, isn't that so stupid?
You changed everything, your whole process.
Changed everything.
You didn't, but on another level, you changed it. You changed the process instead of changing just working harder with your brains. You used other brains in a better way. What you did with your process, if I look at it from a behavioral science, you got rid of many biases, confirmation biases, availability bias, overconfidence by creating this process.
There's a whole world of information, of the best information out there, the best thinking. So why not collect it? And you're exactly right. I changed my instincts. That we have to recognize that within us there are essentially 2 us's. There is the thoughtful, conscious, prefrontal cortex one of us, logical. Yeah. And then beneath that is the subliminal, emotional us. And we are in a battle with those 2 things subconsciously. And so to be able to reconcile those 2 things, to make what we really want to choose that's good for us, for example, would you like to know your weaknesses? Maybe the emotional part doesn't, but the intellectual part does. And if you get into that habit of saying, I want that, it actually becomes pleasurable.
And a board can be an ID meritocracy as well.
Of course, it should be.
It should be, okay, yeah.
Because an idea meritocracy means I want to get to the best ideas based on merit. I just want to get to the right answer. So it just seems so crazy not to have an idea meritocracy.
I think your principles can apply to many boards, but I don't think many boards work that way. I don't think many boards are an ID meritocracy.
Okay, like great collective meritocratic decision-making is going to be so much better than keeping one's ideas in their head and saying, I've got the authority and it's my idea and I'm attached to it and I'm not even going to show you our conversations and have transparency. So which system do you want to bet on?
So your success is due to your principles that were created because of things that went wrong and went right. So you learned, you put it down, you wrote it down, and you created a firm around it. Why aren't other people doing this? Do you know of any other people anyway who wrote it down so explicitly as you did?
I would recommend to anybody that anybody sit down when you're making a decision and pause. Maybe it's the moments after making it. Maybe it's the time of making it. And write down the criteria that you're using to make those decisions. And if you can do that and you get a log, it'll have unexpected, invaluable consequences.